Hey, let's talk about HubSpot. What do you think, huh? The SaaS built for small to medium business, and the fact is that 44% of U.S. GDP and two-thirds of net new jobs in the private sector in this country come from small to medium businesses. Whammo. Bet you didn't know that, but HubSpot did. A SaaS firm built for SMB survival. HubSpot focused on small to medium businesses, and they have produced outsized growth and profit. We're going to tell that story now. So the fact is that they employed something called reverse gravity, the founders. They resisted the lure to move up market past SMB. They found the sweet spot and they stayed there. Kind of an example of the blue ocean strategy. With this guy in mind, the little man, in 2004, two MIT students created a student project and called it HubSpot. Business model was simple. Focus on SMB, avoid the lure of the big client, and aim to get SMBs in the game. The game being that digital marketing stuff that the big guys were all savvy and had lots of staff and people and tools to do it. So HubSpot said, let's enable them to leverage active applications that are easy to use rather than just websites and emails. They flipped the outbound marketing approach and essentially, instead of blasting the world with your message, they created something of value for prospective customers, something called inbound marketing. So flipping outbound to inbound and why it works, well, SMBs have finite budgets and must develop pull-through to create connections and relationships if they want to grow their businesses. How? Lesson 1, create content that prospective customers care about. They want to see it. They want to make themselves better. And that means if it is compelling, that Google will, in fact, find a way to send hundreds of leads. That's what Google does with their algorithms. They go to the popular, interesting stuff. Number 2 was a lesson they learned from Jobs at Apple. They showed up in an Apple situation, and he walked into the room and said, "What are you guys doing here?" And one of them said, "We want to learn how you made your, decisions." He said, "Well, get non-consumers to consume," and that's essentially what he brought them, the idea of democratizing the technical aspects, like this grandma here. I hate to say grandma because I'm married to one, but the fact is democratizing technical aspects. Letting non-geeks be tech savvy. Now, she didn't have any idea what Facebook was, It was a kid's thing. It was college. And now it's just not that at all. And now she can actually do it herself and she can connect with her grandkids. 0 to 100 million in 8 years. The focus on simplicity and ease of use became the core defining construct in building HubSpot's product, creating content that we talked about, the content that people care about, the compelling messaging that the Google algorithms will drive, and getting non-consumers to consume and understand how to do it. That really became a very important aspect. So they set up this team back home, and they were experts, young people, qualified in intuitive design and the HubSpot team at work, creating all kinds of wonderful tools and messages, but they were aiming at a universal market, not a single customized vertical. They were going horizontal, trying to reach as many folks as they could with as little technical development as they could. Founders, our idea of inbound marketing was greenfield for the vast majority of SMB companies. They were not doing anything with the internet marketing and Web 2.0. The benefits they got by using HubSpot were life-changing, and that's what got them excited, the founders. Essentially, what we saw here is, I love Nano Banana. They always come up with these very, very complicated, difficult graphics. But anyway, what the message is here is that we have this HubSpot in the center. It's churning out content management over there on the left, and it's turning out social media marketing on the right. In the middle, it's providing an analytics performance base so that we can actually see the simple small business person can see what's happening and making it sensible. So, attracting customers through relevant and helpful content, building connections aligned with needs and interests of their ideal customers. This required a new set of tools, and HubSpot was there to create it and implement it effectively. So the product, it actually became integrated software for content management. search engine optimization, social media marketing, analytics, but stuff that people could actually understand and didn't need to be, computer geeks, if you will. So the result is that we see this company focusing on the horizontal growth, if you will. That is, going broad market focus, trying to understand that we're going to develop very little technology, but actually have it applied to lots of different folks, not in verticals, but in horizontals. And that made some sense, a lot of sense. So they identified common prospect needs, and those would be things like all needed a website, all needed some form of email communication, and all needed analytics and know-how to figure out how and what's working and what is not. The result was that they came up with a pretty good sales pitch, if you will. That's what we like to think about sometimes. Understanding the common needs prospects, they developed a simple pitch. And the pitch was this young lady working for HubSpot sat down with this man at a coffee shop, and he's running a business. And she says, most businesses need this. Here's what it does. This is why you should use it. And HubSpot can help your team adopt and use this technology to grow your business. And he buys it, takes it home, and he's in his conference room and able to explain it to him. So it's a CRM answer, and CRM is always complicated. They simplified it. And that allowed the customers to see HubSpot as differentiated, not like the others, built a beachhead in the enterprise market to dominate cloud-based SaaS. And then they established a foundation for strong relationships. This is what they call reverse gravity. Resist being pulled up market by the lure of large numbers. That's what we talk about with this ladder here, where people are reaching up to big clients with the big budgets and grab the big money bags. Left to their own devices, all software companies get pulled up market over some sort of a trajectory like that miracle ladder. They get pulled up by the lure of large numbers. Those big companies have big budgets, so why not? In the short term, margins are expanded. However, strategic pivot opens up a blue ocean option. That's the one we're going to talk about with HubSpot. The strategic pivot, not going up, but staying down where there's tons of little fish, and you've got a great formula to gather them in. So, Blue Ocean strategy, just to touch on that, because that's at the core of this strategy here for HubSpot. Kim and Mo Barn did, 10, 15 years ago, came up with this idea of red ocean. Red oceans represent all those industries in existence today, the known market space, if you will. These are bounded. They basically are defined and accepted rules in terms of the boundaries. Companies try to outperform their rivals and grab a greater share based on existing demand. They were not blowing up or increasing. They were just trying to grab share, which is a zero-sum game. As the market space gets crowded, prospects for profits and growth are reduced. Products become commodities, cutthroat competition, hence bloody. That's the red ocean. Blue ocean, on the other hand, represents all the industries not in existence today, the unknown market space. They're untainted by competition. The demand is created rather than just fought over. There is ample opportunity for growth that is both profitable and rapid. And competition is irrelevant because the rules of the game are waiting to be set. So what we have here in summary is that by analyzing HubSpot's strategic choices and their outcomes, we gain valuable insights in strategic MarTech development. Simple stuff, actually, but very disciplined. We know that SaaS, one-stop shop platforms are efficient and provide interoperability, but we also know that there's often the trade-off is that they are not necessarily best-in-class tools like in SEO or attribution. On the other hand, for HubSpot SMB target customers, ease of operation puts them in the game with the big guys and fosters a cultural mindset that shifts the firm's focus to value creation, not getting all stuck on the latest bright, shiny object, thereby opening the door to value extraction. Give your customers something they really want, and you get a chance to get something you want. HubSpot is a great example of what Jim Collins 25 years ago called the flywheel effect. There's no single defining action, no killer innovation or miracle moment that makes a company great. Instead, it is the result of continuous compounding process. That was a great story in the HubSpot miracle. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye.